Tension as AFCC discloses powerful northern governor buying Abuja properties with proceeds of crime. The Nigerian anti-graft agency EFCC has alleged that the governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawalle, is buying properties in Abuja with proceeds of crime. According to the commission, the governor has acquired several properties in the Federal Capital Territory worth billions of naira. The EFCC said this in a counter affidavit it filed against a firm, Fezl Nigeria Limited, in a fundamental right enforcement suit. FCT Abuja Bello Matawalle, the governor of Zamfara State, has been revealed to be under the investigation for alleged money laundering by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. EFCC files counter affidavit against Fezl Nigeria Limited. The agency disclosed that in a counter affidavit it filed in a fundamental rights enforcement suit that a firm, Fezl Nigeria, had instituted. According to the suit, the company claimed that the EFCC invaded its property on February 9, 2022, with armed men taking over and sealing off its premises since then. But the Anti-Crime Commission insisted that Fezl's claim is faulty, arguing that the property was allegedly bought by Zamfara governor through Beisha Printing Press Limited. Well, in this opinion article, a commentator and writer, Demi Saka, writes on how the Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawalle's diplomatic efforts within 30 days earned Nigeria deserving recognition. Okay, that's very much relevant if you're trying to water down the crime or the alleged crime is committed. I don't think you've done a good job doing that. It's another story, another conversation. It's just a cycle, right? We're having conversations like this, and I don't know, is it the FCC that we're depending on to, go through with something like this? All it would take is for another more intense, event or shocking events to come around to the media, and then we focus on that conversation, because stories like this are just too much. You can literally pretty much say every state in the country has its own. Let's not talk about the governors and the businesses, these private businesses that they do. So it's very funny because you have those that are enforcing power also in the private sector, promoting their businesses, and of course they can make laws that will suit them. It's like infiltration. I don't know if that even makes sense. But it's a different thing when those in the private sector have links to those in government. Nah, this is different. The government itself is in charge of the private sector. It's not really giving a free market economy or the mixed economy that it's giving, or that it seems to be. I don't even know what type it is at this point. But really, it's the same conversation that we keep having again and again and again. And as a Nigerian, if you want to engage in conversations like this, you are really entirely just wasting your breath, because all it would take is for another well laid out plan. And so the surprise or the conversation will change on the intensity or the creativity or the innovation as to how they commit these crimes. Really, it's the only difference. Where the corruption exists, it exists. And it's the same things like we're depending on INEC to make sure that these elections are free and fair, without acknowledging that it is compromised. And I think it's the same thing with the FCC. Do you know how many financial crimes have been committed over that? Come on. It's like, what do we want to do? If we're not going to talk about how to literally scrap the judiciary, or literally have a cleanse or a filtering system to actually allow for accountability, there is no point. There is actually no point, because really this conversation is very irrelevant. And what this does unintentionally is really to dampen our spirit, because really you're talking about failures again and again and again, and we get used to it. And I think that is why for a lot of years Nigerians have not necessarily taken the bull by the horns in terms of enforcing change, because we've gotten used to it in the environment. It's like when you're around or you step into shit, you don't smell the shit anymore, because you're now so used to it that really you do have Nigerians that are willing to just be like, it's really none of my business. But things are getting worse just for the standard of living, and you just have to know who you are within a political or the government, within the context of a government, because then if you know that you are a citizen of a country, you'd understand, well, wait a minute, I should not be going through this. So that's why knowing your rights and knowing your stand is very important, because really what it does is, again, what is the news with this conversation? We need to have conversations that will make sure we bring back accountability. We use people as scapegoats. We raise the standard of ethics in this country. The standard needs to be raised. It's like there is no standard, there is no direction. And really, you can come out in public and do what is wrong and it'll be seen as right, or you just be let go for doing what everybody can agree this is wrong. That is how damaged our society has become. So really talking about what this individual has done, well, the fact is he's a governor and you're in a federal nation whereby you have different states and different states have their laws. He's the chief security officer of the state. So really there's so much autonomy as a governor. So look at the amount of power that we have allocated to those in these positions. What are we going to do? We've given them so much power that it seems almost impossible, how to really get accountability, because we are really depending so much on those in power to do the right thing, and that will just never work. It will just never work. So if you're going to depend that much on an individual that has no ethics, that's very corrupt, that has grown in a corrupt society to get it to a place of power, and you're depending on them to act different to the environment that they were raised in, it is a problem and you're not going to get what you want. So my point is really to say that I am tired of having these conversations. It is either this governor has bought a house in another country, or that the governor has done something else. Really, we just have to understand that these individuals are aware of what they are doing. We cannot act as if these politicians, they're stupid, they're this, they're unaware. They're not. They are very much aware of what they're doing. They're all professors. In fact, most of them study abroad. In fact, they live abroad most of the time during their tenure. And so you can't address these governors as if they're so unaware. They know what they're doing, and that is why we just need to be harsh and very strict as Nigerians. Or in fact, if it means we have to change the system or change the constitution, because the amount of power we're giving to those we cannot depend on is too much and always puts the people at risk. It's not worth it. Put what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.